My name is Cacos. I'm the president and CEO of Argentina Lithium Energy Corp, and our company represents the next major discovery of lithium in the prolific and well-known Lithium Triangle in Argentina. We believe we've got the project with the results that's going to develop into the next lithium deposit in that part of the world.
Nico, good to see you again. I think last time we spoke, we were talking uranium, and now you're in the Lithium Triangle, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, telling that story. But look, because it's Argentina, people will be a little bit nervous about that one. Tell us a little bit about the competitive advantages you may have operating in country.
There are many competitive advantages. Number one is the occurrence of lithium. Recently the price has gone up because the demand for lithium is so high, and being able to find lithium is not as easy. It's not easy to get out there and to find it. But one of the best places to source lithium is within what's the world-renowned Lithium Triangle. Nearly 60% of known lithium reserves of the world come from this area. And the Lithium Triangle, it is basically encompasses part of northeastern Chile, a little bit of southern Bolivia, and a significant chunk of northwestern Argentina. Now, with respect to Argentina, because the country is really underdeveloped in terms of mining exploration, most of the best place to find lithium is really in Argentina, and our expertise, I think, really weighs in there with our 30-year track record with Grosso Group. So besides, that's the one advantage that we have in Argentina, the fact that it's underexplored, and lithium, there's an excellent chance of finding lithium. There's excellent potential, to find lithium there. The second advantage, of course, is the governments. The governments of the provinces of Salta and Catamarca in that part of the world, and the federal government have been very vocal proponents and supporting of mining investment, especially in lithium. So it creates an excellent and very advantageous framework and environment for explorers like us to go into Argentina and to conduct our mining work.
Okay, and again, for the uninitiated, people don't know the Grosso Group, you've referenced them already. Blue Sky Uranium. Okay, I think it's fair to say this is small junior waiting for the uranium space to turn, like a lot of people. But what are the other successes in the group?
Well, as Grosso Group, we have over 30 years of experience in being in Argentina. Joe Grosso, the founder of Grosso Group, recognized the opportunity 30 years ago in that Argentina was finally liberalizing and modernizing its investment laws to allow foreign investment into the mining industry back in 1992-93. Now, prior to that, there had been extremely very, very limited mining expression. So what we had a country like Argentina, which is the 8th largest country by landmass in the world, being severely underdeveloped in terms of mining. And you look at its neighbor in Chile, which is a small sliver compared to Argentina, that was already reaping very significant revenues of mining, royalties from its mining industry. So Argentina decided to get going, but we were there at the beginning, right at the forefront. And over that 30-year period, we have made actually 4 major world-class discoveries. We've discovered the Gualcamayo gold mine, which is still in production today. We discovered the Chinchillas silver lead zinc mine, which is still in production today. We did that in partnership with SSR Mining from discovery all the way up into production. We discovered the Navidad silver deposit, which is the world's largest undeveloped silver deposit. And as you already alluded to, the Amarillo Grande uranium vanadium district, it's the largest deposit of uranium in Argentina and a brand new district in southern Argentina. And here with Argentina Lithium, we see the potential and the unexplored region of northwestern Argentina, and we think we can replicate this with lithium.
Right, and so tell me what the model is here, because obviously with Navidad, that's Pan American Silver, $4 billion company, Chinchillas, SSR Mining, etc. Is it to make discoveries and then bring people with bigger balance sheets on to actually, pay for and to develop and mine those projects. Is that what you're about?
That's exactly what our model is. As a junior explorer, we have limited access to capital, but what we do have, we have excellent exploration team. We have a very talented technical team, and on the corporate side, being able to fund it so that it remains. So when we make a discovery, it remains advantageous to our shareholders of that time. So we have also, when you're doing in the exploration phase of a discovery, it's a very different business than the development of a mine and a running of a mine. That's almost like two different businesses. We understand what we're good at, and we focus in on that. And then when we bring the project up to pre-feasibility or feasibility study, that's what our expertise is in-house. At that point, we bring not a major company, not just for financial, but also for their expertise in being able to take it forward. So what kind of a deal do we do at that time? Well, it depends on economic circumstances at that time. We may sell it outright. We may choose to keep an option for ourselves and go for the ride during production. It's a decision that's made at a much later time.
Right. Okay. And you've got a couple of kind of core four projects, but sort of two kind of core projects. You've got Rincon West and Antofalla North. So they're slightly different plays, aren't they? One is a kind of neurology play, it seems. In fact, why don't we start with Rincon? Tell us what you got there.
Yeah, we do. We have 4 projects that we were able to put together relatively quickly, and now we're at the phase where we're starting to explore and to drill test these projects. And of the 4, the 2 leading projects, like you said, are the Rincon West and the Antofalla project. And the reason for that is both those projects have established major companies with resources on them. So we know that these salt lakes, or salars as they're known in Argentina, contain lithium. So looking at Rincon West. Rincon West is the northernmost project. Besides being situated right by a highway and an excellent infrastructure, including a railway that leads to a deep sea port in Chile, and power and so forth. The project itself, our neighbor recently is Rio Tinto, one of the world's largest mining companies, and they recently, just earlier this year, in fact, paid $825 million to acquire their position there with a significant resource, and they are completely bordering all of our properties. So, and another larger company there is Argosy Minerals, is an Australian company. They too are on the same salar, and they have about a quarter million ton of lithium carbonate resource in the same salar. And we've started drilling there. And this is what makes this salar prospective. So we acquired our projects, we've gone in, we've done some geophysics, identified target areas where we think we could make lithium discoveries, and we started drilling. We've completed and announced 2 holes so far, and both holes have encountered significant intervals of lithium at grades that are comparable with both what Rio Tinto has been getting and with Argosy Minerals. So we're off to the races here, it seems, right from the get-go. So we've got 3 more holes to do, and I believe if they continue to come in the way they are coming in, we're going to be doing a resource calculation in short order.
Right, okay, showing a bit of ankle to Rio Tinto, possibly Argosy, but they're the other side of the salar from you. So I guess the economics would need to be defined there for them. But how much more work do you need to do on this to be able to get Rio Tinto to move? And in a sort of meaningful way, they've got their own time frame. They've got a huge land package there, albeit all around yours. They don't need you yet. But so you got to have a view on how much money you spend and say, well, that's enough on that one, and that's just a waiting game. We'll move on to the next thing. We've got a bunch of projects here. We need to move along the curve. So how do you play it?
Well, one of the main technologies here, and this is key, is what's made these projects really viable, is direct lithium extraction. It's a new technology where chemically you can remove lithium at relatively very much lower cost than what it used to be. They used to have to take the lithium brine, lay it out on these flat surfaces and allow it to evaporate over many years. It was time consuming, very expensive, and you needed an extremely high grades of lithium in order to make that work. In the last 5 years, we've seen these lithium extraction technologies really advance, and I think Rio Tinto now has got a pilot plant, and so does Argosy, in which they feel that this is going to work for them, and this is what we're planning to do. So if we have a significant resource that we can identify, and then we can build a pilot plant, demonstrate a direct lithium extraction technology that works, and do either a preliminary economic assessment or a pre-feasibility study. At that point, somebody's going to want it. If it's Rio Tinto, if they want to include that, if it's significant enough, they may want it. But we're already getting expressions of interest from other large companies, both from China and from Europe. There's a huge demand right now. So I don't think it was our only option.
Why would you go? Well, I know you want the competitive tension because that drives the price up, but at the same time, there's no way you want to spend money on a pilot plant or anything which involves any kind of capital expenditure. Surely, when you've got this obvious partner sitting next door to you, so without going and spending a ton of money, dilutive money at that, how do you get their attention, and how do you take a view on what value is or isn't good enough for you to get some cash out of this thing to go and actually develop stuff that you can take control of, or is more likely to have a slightly more interesting economic profile?
Well, Rio Tinto understands the salar extremely well, obviously. And us publishing a resource, which we expect maybe a maiden resource in the first quarter of 23, is going to be the first sort of waving of the flag. Look at us, look what we've got. And then we will continue to drill and to see if we could increase that resource. If it attracts, I can't speak for Rio Tinto what their modus operandi here is. If it's a significant resource, I'm sure that they will take interest in it, and they may look at it and come and talk to us. But at the same time, though, there will be others that will be looking at it as well. As we already have, like I said, expressions of interest from companies, but we're not looking to do any deals right now. When I said in terms of building a pilot plant, we wouldn't be the ones paying for that. Usually these direct lithium extraction companies come in, they provide the funding for that, and because they like to see their technologies being applied. So it's a decision I think that we're going to make after we publish a resource and what the circumstances are at that time.
That makes sense. Okay, building a resource makes a lot of sense. DLE companies funding this stuff, I would like to, it'd be interesting to sort of see how that moves, because there's not a lot of those DLE companies that are kind of showing the commerciality of these things. They're showing sort of technical success, but moving it up the chain and doing it at scale is a different matter. So it'd be interesting to see how that technology evolves. It'd be interesting to see how those conversations evolve. But you obviously got something of value there. The question is who to, I suspect.
That's right.
Now, without sort of wanting to too deep into the weeds today, because we're kind of introducing the story to people. So lithium, great thesis to be talking about for sure. Battery thematic, EV thematic, green thematics, all good. So Antofalla North, what's that like?
Antofalla North is another salar, another salt lake, just south of Rincon, and that is a very long salar, many kilometers. And what makes that one really attractive to us, that in the center part of that salar is it's been staked and owned by Albemarle. Albemarle is one of the world's largest lithium producing companies. So they have also previously published in a news release, they have in this salar what they believe the largest lithium resource in Argentina. So we control the entire northern part of this same salt lake, and we're right up to the border. We border with Albemarle right now. So as we're right now, our focus has been on Rincon and drilling that. In the new year, we're going to begin our geophysics program, which has been working extremely well in terms of helping us identify the presence of brine aquifers at depth. And then I expect towards the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, we'll commence a drill program to test for the presence of lithium on our property in this lithium-bearing salar.
Right. Okay. So it's a similar model, similar cookie cutter model, that the kind of neurology thing to a, let's call them major two, because they're one of the biggest out there. And then it's a question of doing enough, and then the waiting game, and then maybe then moving down to the sort of other projects. Was it Pocitos? Am I going to use that name?
Yeah, Pocitos and Inkawasi. Those are the two other projects. The reason we have them further down our priority list is because there is no major company there. There hasn't been any big lithium discovery made in these projects. They're exploration plays. They're certainly prospective. Pocitos, we have a very large position there, and it's a very large salar as well. That one, after we complete with the first two, there's work. We'll complete some geophysics here and drill test those. And then the same with Inkawasi. The case with Inkawasi, we actually have the entire salar to ourselves. So that one we had drill test many years ago. But the emergence of some new geophysical techniques was not applied at that time. We expect to do the geophysics first, which we think has been an excellent indicator to point us to where we should be drilling for high-grade lithium, and then proceed on to that. So we've got a lot on our plate, a lot of projects but I think with Rincon, where we're already getting lithium values, I think, we have a discovery, and we're very excited to see that being developed.
Well, you've got projects, and I guess you've got access in country, because again, it's kind of where others fear to tread, really. And I suspect, how much does it cost you to acquire these 4 projects?
Well, the projects we were able to acquire, many of them for, I guess for some of them we were able to stake, which is not very expensive at all. In some cases, we were able to do deals with local vendors. Multiple vendors, and be able to put together and assemble an area play or a significant package within a project, and in some cases in a Rincon, just in the last this summer, in fact, we participated in a bid. The government was publicly auctioning a piece of land within the Rincon salar, which is actually which abuts directly onto ours, and we won that. That one we paid. It was the most expensive piece of property, and we paid $2.5 million to acquire that. But some of the others we were able to get just for a few $1,000s or in option deals. So we've been pretty prudent, and we've been able to, very fortunate, and because we have the backing of Grosso Group and the reputation there, which has given us access to the local vendors who, in many cases, are distrustful of larger foreign companies coming into Argentina. They know that we're going to be honest with them, that we'll be transparent in our business dealings. So it truly gives us a real competitive advantage, and we've been able to leverage that.
Okay, it's an interesting model you describe. Where are you with cash? Because here's the thing, you're not promising to be all things to all men, and say, because it's lithium's a very technical metal. You know what you're good at and where you're going to go up to, and you've been able to acquire assets. That's kind of interesting to me, and pick them up at a reasonable price. So hopefully the uplift is good when there's an exchange. But to kind of get to that point, to kind of show that bit of ankle, show the strength of the assets you've got, you are going to have to spend money. So where are you with capital now? What are you going to need to kind of move these projects through those phases?
Well, right now we've got about $1.5 million still left in our bank, which is sufficient to complete our drill program at Rincon West. Now, as we've acquired recently additional land at Rincon and at Antofalla, and the fact that we're beginning to move towards a resource calculation, hopefully, that we can publish in the first quarter of 23. We're going to need additional cash to go forward with that. So we're going to be looking to raise, depending on the market, and we're always mindful of dilution. So also a share price, we'll be looking to where, we'll be considering maybe another $5 million or so for the next year, so that we can have enough funding to accelerate the drill program at Rincon and to do the drill program that we want to do at the Antofalla North properties.
Right. Okay. So, okay. Right. And in any sense of what that looks like, I mean, what's your burn rate, for instance?
It depends when we're drilling.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're spreading corporate out through the Grosso Group. You're not
That's right.
Loading down the company.
That's right. Our overhead costs are very, very low. Most of the money that we raise goes in the ground, basically in terms of drilling and exploration. And our financial statements do reflect that. So I hope to be burning a lot more money, but it depends, of course, on the share price and the intensity of the program that we can handle on the ground.
Well, I suspect the market's pretty tough out there as well. You have to make a call on what that looks like, because there's a slight disconnect between equities and lithium prices, which have been on an absolute tear. So yeah, you got to play that game carefully too, haven't you?
No, of course, but there is still interest out there for lithium right now. I don't have any doubts that we can raise the funds for that. It's being able to do it at prices that are not, managing dilution for our shareholders. So we're always mindful of that.
Okay. Well, Nico, thanks for introducing the story to us. First of all, interested in all kind of EV stories at the moment, and the business plans and strategies of the management teams involved. So stay in touch. Let us know how you get on, especially when it comes around to raising capital. Be intrigued to sort of see how that goes for you. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you.